What's up, everybody? This is your boy JB, and I am here to talk about Vanderpump Rules, the season 10 reunion part 3. Now, baby, so I watched the uncensored version, and shout out to Tracy who already came into the live. Baby, I watched it on Peacock, and it's a mess. It 100% is a mess. So yeah, I watched the uncensored version on Peacock, and it was a dude. It was, I mean, wow. The last 6 minutes of the reunion. So before we go ahead and get into it, if you guys are joining me in the live, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notifications, you guys, and also share this video or any other on the channel, you guys. Now, Vanderpump Rules Season 10 Reunion Part 3. So I actually want to start out by saying I am a big, huge fan of Vanderpump Rules. I've watched Vanderpump Rules since season 1. So I know the dynamics of this group. I know the dynamics from everybody from Jax, who I couldn't stand, who blocked me on Twitter, Stassi, who I think is a raging racist, Kristen, raging racist, Katie, not the biggest fan of Katie, Sheena is a mess, but I like Sheena, James, James, James with this reunion, James was for me my MVP. Lala was just team too much for me. So the reunion. So I want to start out really quickly just talking about Vanderpump Rules, right? So we all know, if you guys are not familiar with Vanderpump Rules, there was a big, huge scandal this season with Tom Sandoval, who is standing right next to Lisa Vanderpump. And if you don't know who Lisa is to my right of Andy in the black dress that Giselle wore to the reunion of Real Housewives of Potomac. So Tom is next to Lisa, right? So Tom and actually Rachel, aka Raquel, is not pictured in this photo because Sheena is there, and she had filed a restraining order against Sheena because now, you guys, I do believe that Sheena popped that girl, and that's my opinions. But hey, that's what I think. I think Sheena did pop the hell out of her, and if she did, good for her, right? So the biggest thing this season is the affair between Raquel and Sandoval, right? So I know a lot of people are upset about what happened. Oh, because I've saw the comments on Twitter where people say, but Raquel was Ariana's best friend, right? Nobody is without fault when it comes to the Vanderpump Rules cast because they all have basically slept with one another. So nobody is too particularly innocent in this situation when it comes to Vanderpump Rules. Like, Tom cheated on his ex-girlfriend Kristen with his current girlfriend, well, now ex-girlfriend Ariana. Sheena, let's not forget about Sheena and her relationship with Trash Box Brandon Glanville's ex-husband. Who else? Swartz has cheated himself. Kristen, who's no longer on the show. Jax, who's no longer on the show. Like, everybody on this show has, mixed around with everybody. It's like a cesspool of people. So even Lala has had her own situation where she slept with a married man. We'll talk about that as we get into it, right? But so this episode, it actually opened up and we're joined by Raquel, aka Rachel, and she's talking about how embarrassed she is and how she owes people apologies. And the more that I sat and looked at her, it was in this particular moment I looked at the girl, I was like, I think sis is a sociopath. Like, everything about her was just screaming sociopath, and it didn't scream that she was really remorseful for what she did to her quote unquote best friend. That's the thing that I just don't understand. How do these people consider somebody their best friend, but then go and sleep with your quote unquote best friend's significant other? Like, I just, for the life of me, don't understand that, right? So then I want to talk about her real quick because, excuse me, when you look at Raquel, Rachel, whatever you choose to call her, I don't like to call people pass arounds, but girl, you look like a straight up pass around because you went from Peter to Garcelle's son to, well, Sandoval, then Schwartz, and that's the one that's even more nasty to me is that you was having sex with Sandoval, but you kissed Swartz girl. That those two are best friends. And Swartz, I mean not Swartz, but Sandoval. So you smashed her, but you tried to pawn her off on your best friend. That is disgusting and nasty. So Andy asked Katie, who is sitting right next to Ariana in the black dress, and Ariana is in a red dress. So Andy was asking Katie, like, why did she invite this girl, Rachel, on the girls trip, right? And Katie was saying that she was basically just trying to befriend her. And so this goes back to what I was just saying about this friend group, right? I think that there's a lot of hypocrisy around this whole spectrum because at one point, Lala, she just kept going at this girl, right? Talking about, I wasn't your friend, ho. I didn't like you, ho. I'm like, Lala, you do a lot. Lala with these nails and the mannerisms, it's given cultural appropriation. It gives very much. I don't study, black women's mannerisms, and I'm going to mimic what I see. That's what Lala gives to me, and I'm not really the biggest fan of Lala. What up, Tracy? How you doing? I see that you had already came in here, so we are. I'm already talking, but yeah, this reunion is it's a doozy. But yeah, watching Lala just really just gives me hypocrite, like not hip. She's a hypocrite, but Lala also gives me cultural appropriation. She's studied black women and the way that black women talk, so she mimics that, right? So I want to talk about Ariana. And I'm not going to downplay how Ariana feels about this situation. It's hurtful to find out that your boyfriend is sleeping with someone that you call a best friend, right? So I absolutely 100% understand Ariana's frustration in this situation. But Ariana, man, when that girl she dropped every F bomb she could to Rachel. She said, fuck you, fuck that. I wish you the absolute worst of every fucking thing. I was like, well, god damn. Like, okay, Ariana, I'm gonna tell her how you really feel. And I like I said, I can't really feel too bad for Ariana because as age old saying goes, the way you get them is the way that you lose them. And Ariana, he was with Kristen when y'all were together, y'all got together. Was Kristen cheating on him? Absolutely. So I don't really feel too I feel for Ariana, but you know, like I said, the way you get them is the way you lose them. Tracy said, I was thinking Lala studied drag, but I guess, I mean, I can see drag too, but when Lala was talking with her hands, it's the way she was talking with her hands and the way she kept calling that girl ho. It's like, I'm like, you've studied house. I feel like what Lala has done is Lala has studied housewives for sure. And I feel like she studied Atlanta housewives a lot because she was very much given that she's watched so many housewives reunions. I feel like she was trying to audition for the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills or Salt Lake City. She is trying to get either a diamond or a snowflake, one of the two, right? So Rachel, this girl is a sociopath. I was looking at her the entire part three of this reunion. She kept trying to muster up tears, but the tears would never come. I'm like, you are very much so given that you are a sociopath. She's talking about the people that she's hurt. And I'm just like, you're not emoting any empathy. Like, it's just blanketed words. And like I said, I'm happy that the fact that Ariana kept clocking her, telling her to shut the fuck up and all that kind of stuff, telling her in time to shut the fuck up. I'm fine with that because she, like I said, she was very much so giving me that she is a sociopath, right? Now, here's the thing that blows me when it comes to Rachel. So they showed the clip of Rachel and Ariana talking about her sex life with Tom. I was floored when I saw that because when you just sit and think about it, like you were already sleeping with Tom, and then you're sitting here having a conversation with his girlfriend, knowing damn well you're fucking her boyfriend. And I'm just like, how did you sit in that girl's face with a straight face, knowing you were sleeping with that man? Like, it's something wrong. It is literally something wrong with that girl. Like, something is wrong with her in her brain. And I know at one point Lala told her she needs to get a mental evaluation. She said she is. I was like, well, I don't think it's helping you, sweetie, because you're a sociopath. Because it was, for me, it was her and Tom in part 1 and 2 trying to fake these tears. Y'all didn't feel nothing when y'all were doing it. So why are y'all now trying to come back and be like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, Ariana. I'm sorry. Like, the tears fell flat for me. The tears will not come because she only feels bad for herself. She does. And we'll talk about that when we get to like the last 6 minutes of the episode. She only feels bad about herself. She don't feel bad about what she did to anybody. And the thing that is really frustrating, is like really sad, is the fact that Sheena, when Sheena said that she would be okay with Brock sleeping in the bed with that girl, I don't know what kind of planet we living on where you are okay with a woman, another woman, sleeping in the bed with your man. Absolutely not. Like, I was floored by that. Like, say what now? Run that back. Now you see that if she did sleep in the bed with Brock, that she probably would have tried. Well, they did sleep in the bed together, but I think Sheena was in the middle, but that don't stop nothing. Hands can move. Oh, despicable person. So back to Lala. So Lala keeps calling her all kind of hoes. And, Rachel at one point brought up the fact that, James and Lala had sex when they first got together. And Lala was like, I wasn't your friend, ho. I wasn't your friend. I didn't like you. And that's fine and dandy. But girl, if you slept with her boyfriend when they got together, tomato, tomato. So I don't know what you want me to say. I mean, I get that you saying you didn't like the girl, but girl, you slept with her. And then the hypocritical thing with Lala is the fact that when you were with Randall, that man was married. I know he probably told you other things, but that man was very much so married. So y'all are all in the same fucking boat. Like, let's keep it a buck. The whole cast has no boundaries. That is why no one clocked it sooner. That's true. None of them have any boundaries, and it's just kind of weird. That's why I always say with Vanderpump Rules, it's just very incestuous. Like, it's like a cesspool. Because I mean, if you do a chart of who slept with who, it's nasty. So they have no boundaries when it comes to anything in this group. Ugh. But yeah, Lala, like I said, she's just talking about her. But I'm like, Lala, sweetie, I need you to put a mirror up to your face, my love, because you're no better than she is. You're no better. And like, none of these people, only person that I can say on this photo that has not been involved in a cheating scandal where she cheated is Katie. And I don't even like Katie. I've never been a fan of Katie Maloney. Never been a fan of her. I've never been a fan of Katie since the days of her, Stassi, and Kristen. Never been a fan of those three, right? But Katie, if we're gonna be honest, Katie is like the only semi-innocent person in this group. Katie, the one like the one person that I can't stand, Katie. James has cheated. Lala has cheated. Ariana has cheated. Tom has Sandoval has cheated. Schwartz has cheated, and so has Sheena. And in the earlier days of Vanderpump Rules, I used to be team. I still like Sheena. I was really team Sheena when the Mean Girls of Vanderpump Rules were on there, and they would give Sheena hell. But yeah, nobody on this cast, with the exception of Katie, is innocent. Y'all have all slept with somebody that y'all probably shouldn't have slept with, right? So Lala, Lala has a lot of anger for Rachel, and I'm not really upset with it. I'm not upset with her anger. I feel like she's doing a lot personally. What did Tracy say? Sheena started this show on. Oh my God! Not Sheena started this show on her back. I can't. But no lies were told. I actually remember. What was it? Season 1 or season 2 when they did that crossover with Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and that trash box Brandy Glanville was upset at Lisa for having her at that party. I will never forget it. And I'm somebody who don't see it from Brandy Glanville, but in that moment, I was seeing Brandy, right? So Lisa Vanderpump, I don't know. It's like Vanderpump was playing like she was wiffle waffling because 1 minute in part 1 and 2, you will see her on Ariana's, and even in part 3, 1 minute you'll see Vanderpump on Ariana's side, but then the next minute you'll see her trying to defend Rachel and Tom. And I'm like, how can you defend anything that they did? Like, how can you defend any? That is what's right in Vanderpump Rules. Yeah, like I thought it was. I thought I was right about that because I remember early seasons of Vanderpump Rules. They would premiere right alongside of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and it would always Beverly Hills would end, and we would go directly into Vanderpump Rules. But my thing with Vanderpump is Vanderpump. 1 minute she's telling Tom you can't defend what you did, but then the next minute she's defending Tom. I'm like, Vanderpump, I really want you to pick a side, right? So they talked about Garcelle's son Oliver, right? And I remember when this came out in the blogs that I remember when this came out in the blogs about Oliver and Rachel kissing each other, and I was like, ain't that man married to another woman? So Vanderpump was defending Oliver. I'm like, girl, he knew he was married. She's like, but he's separated and he lives in a different house from his wife. If the ink ain't dry on that divorce decree, he's still technically married to his wife. Like, that's why, I mean, come on, Lisa. Come on, Lisa. I was looking at Lisa like, girl, you can try to defend him and you can try to defend this girl, but there is no defending either one of them. There's no defending anything that was done. Like, what is she like? I've never been. So for me personally, I will tell you guys here right now, I've never been a fan of Vanderpump. I like her little shade on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, but I was never 100% a Vanderpump fan. Lisa Vanderpump is protecting her. She is. She doesn't care who is sleeping with who. And I think that's an issue that I have with Vanderpump. I get that she's trying to protect her investment, but how successful is that restaurant now that all of this shit has came out about Sandoval? How successful is Schwartz and Sandy? I think Ariana and Katie's restaurant, which is not opened yet, or whatever they're opening, I think they're going to be more successful than Schwartz and Sandy. Hell, whatever happened? I think Tom Tom is closed, right? Y'all, I don't live in California, so y'all have to let me know if Tom Tom is closed. But yeah, so here we go with Tom. So when they were talking about Rachel and Oliver, I noticed this with Tom in this reunion that Tom would try to find any kind of sliver of anything. He would try to say, "Oh well, this, oh well that," to try to justify what he did. And I was like, "Oh, so Tom is a sociopath. Tom is a sociopath. Tom is manipulative. That is the biggest thing from that I took away from this reunion with Tom. Sandoval is fucking manipulative." And like Lala said in part 1 of the reunion when Lisa tried to defend it, Tom is a dangerous person. And we're going to get right into why I think he is such a dangerous fucking person. Now, wait a minute. Tom and Katie was not divorced yet. They pushed Tom to kiss Rachel. And that's the thing that I'm still stuck on. I'm not even stuck on the fact that Tom and Katie weren't divorced. What I'm stuck on is the fact that Schwartz was pushed onto Rachel and Sandoval had already had sex with the girl. So, girl, you really, oh God, you look like a pass around. And I don't like saying that term, but you went from Peter. Well, actually, let's start from where you really started from. You went from James, Peter, Oliver, Sandoval, Schwartz. That is 5 men. Ooh, protect your vaginas. Jesus. Tom, for real, Tom Tom is still open. So Pump is closing, but I think it's because LVP is moving to Vegas. Okay. I did see that she got I did see that she has a show coming to Hulu about about something. I think it's her Vegas thing. I can't remember. I just saw it a few minutes ago before I came on here. But I did see that she has another show coming. So Tom Tom is still open. Pump. Okay, that's the I know which one Pump is. I remember she opened Pump during this show. So they closed Pump. So what does she have currently? Does she still have Villa Rosa? I haven't. I don't. I've never. I've looked at Lisa Vanderpump's menus for her food, And I thought about if I go to California, I would love to try the food, but the menus are things that I know for a fact I personally wouldn't eat. But yeah. So why is Rachel kissing Oliver so bad? He was just as married as Tom. He was. That's the problem that I had with Lisa. When Lisa was trying to talk about, she wouldn't push any of the girls on to Oliver. But we all, just because he's living in a different house from his wife and they're separated, that still there's no divorce. He is not divorced. He is still very much legally married to that woman. So I don't know what Lisa was talking about because I was just looking at Lisa sideways. I was looking at Lisa hella sideways when she said that. I'm like, I get what you're trying to say. You're trying to say, well, at the time that him and her did whatever they kissed, that he was, not with his wife. But if they're still married on paper, they could easily go back to each other. So I was just looking at Lisa like, okay, girl, miss me with the bullshit. I like Ariana. I like Ariana said Rachel looks for her identity in men. She does. I feel sorry that she has to navigate through life like that. I don't. Because I said it earlier, I think she's a sociopath. Like there's no kind of emotion. She's all about self. Because if you go back and look at that, we'll talk about it when we get to it, but if you look at that last scene of the episode where she did her final interview with the producers, and even Lala said it, the only time that this girl really cries when it's about her. She cried about them damn pageants. But on this stage, you want to fake like you are, you're talking about, I'm so sorry, but you're faking. No, you're faking. Not one tear came out of her eyes. Not a one tear. Now, Trace, that's a different situation with Kenya and Mark. They've been going through this divorce for some years. So Kenya is not going back to Mark. So I get what you're saying, but Kenya is not going back to Mark Daly. Their divorce is going on because of him. She now has Tom Tom in Las Vegas. She has 4 locations in Vegas. Okay, so Vanderpump is moving to Vegas. Oh, for the love of God. I just thought about something. Because Jacqueline Larita lives in Vegas too. Andy, listen to me and listen to me well. Do not go and cast for Real Housewives of Las Vegas and bring Jacqueline Larita. Do not bring Jacqueline Larita. Do you think Tom gave her a few Xannies? That's a possibility. Because she, I mean, when she talks, she does seem spaced out. I have to be honest. I do think there's some, she seems spaced out sometimes. So we're going to say allegedly. We're going to say allegedly. But because when it comes to Tom, like I said, throughout this reunion, I really noticed how truly manipulative Tom Sandoval is. That was the one takeaway that I took from this reunion, that Sandoval is a manipulator. Because especially in part, I'm gonna bounce back and forth, you guys. Especially in part 2, or was it part 1, when they asked Schwartz when did he find out, right? And Schwartz was like, he found out in August, right? And Sandoval looked at him like, August? It was January. And I was like, see, Sandoval is trying to, and especially in part 2, when Sandoval went to that girl's trailer and he was trying to talk to her off camera, I was like, oh, you trying to get your story straight. That's what it is. Because I was like, so yeah, the biggest thing for me with Sandoval is he's very, very manipulative. And I noticed that with this reunion. Don't say it 3 times out loud. She might end up on the show in Las Vegas. I'm not gonna say her name anymore because can we just briefly talk about New Jersey real quick? Because when Teresa brought up her name at the New Jersey reunion, I was like, oh my God, for the love of God, how do you believe anything that comes out of her mouth? You and her weren't friends for some years, but now you believe her when she tells you stuff about Melissa and Joe? Go to hell. Real Housewives of Vegas, Andy, you can keep that. Where's New Orleans? I don't know what's going on with New Orleans, but yeah, if he even considers bringing Ms. Larita back, no, I'm good on her. I don't think it'll be Real Housewives of Vegas. I think it's going to be a Vanderpump Rules Vegas. That could be. We'll see. But as long as I don't see Jacqueline Larita on I just said her name 3 times. As long as I don't see Jacqueline, I'm fine with that. Because I've never been a fan of Jacqueline Larita. So as long as I never have to look at her face, I'm good. So where are we at? So let's move over to Schwartz. Schwartz is somebody that just doesn't take anything seriously because then we move over to him and Rachel kissing each other, right? And I'm just sitting here. So I actually, again, I'm not a huge Katie fan. I don't like Katie whatsoever, right? But I absolutely understood what Katie was saying as far as when it comes to the friend group, don't sleep with anybody in the friend group. I'm cool with that, and I respect that. But then Schwartz gonna sit here and say, well, she wasn't part of the friend group. Schwartz, let's stop playing semantics. And one point in time, play semantics, and Vanderpump had to say that semantics. He said it's not semantics. Yes, it was. Tracy says, I have a question. What's up? What's the question, Tracy? I'll answer it for you. Like Schwartz, ugh. But here's my thing. Here's the thing with Schwartz and Sandoval. I'm still stuck on the fact that Sandoval fucked this girl. This is what they're saying in the episode. It's uncensored. And you guys can go check it out on Peacock, by the way. But Schwartz has sex with this girl, and you try to pawn her off on your best friend. But now you're talking about you in love with this girl. How are you in love with this girl if you are willing to pass her to your best friend? That is not love. And I really want her to see that this is manipulation, but I think she's too stupid to see it. Like, I just don't think she's that bright. Like, Sandoval is a creep. He's a creep with a mustache, and an ugly mustache that I really wish he would shave that mustache. I really need for Sandoval to shave that mustache. Do you feel the two? That's a good question, Tracy. That is a good question. Do I feel that the two Toms had sex with Rachel? Oh my God, that is a really good question. I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest with you. I really wouldn't be surprised because this is gonna be these are my opinions when it comes to Schwartz and Sandoval. I've always got gay from them. I've always got that they've done something, sword fighting something. I've always got that, and these are my opinions. This is allegedly my opinion, so no one has said this, but I've always got that they've done something together. So I would not be surprised if. Oh no, no, Tracy, you good? You're fine. You're fine. Um, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they did. It really wouldn't surprise me. But honestly, I don't think so. I really just feel like it was more so like a game of hot potato. Let's pass the bitch to the next person. That's really what it gave to me. And like I said, I just cannot get past the fact that Sandoval, and here's the thing, Sandoval says that they only had sex one time, right? We're going to talk about it once we get to the end of it. But Sandoval kept saying it was only one time. It was only one time. But even Vanderpump said, even if it was one time, you still tried to pawn her off on your friend who is not divorced yet. Like, what the hell are we talking about? That, like I said, part 1 through 3 of the reunion, it really just clued me into that Sandoval is a master manipulator. He thinks he's a smart person, but he's not that smart. Marlo said, I feel like they all did. That's why it's easy to pass her off. Yeah, I can see that. Now, I will say with Oliver, I don't necessarily know if they had sex, but I wouldn't be surprised. And the same with Peter. I really wouldn't be surprised if Peter had sex with the girl, right? Oh my God, yes, I always felt like them two was bi and scared to come out. Oh, I definitely feel like there's something there with Schwartz and Sandoval. Again, allegedly, these are my opinions. These are not facts. This is JB's thoughts and opinions about Schwartz and Sandoval. So no one has said this. This is just my personal opinions, right? So the interesting thing for me was, again, you guys, I watched the uncensored version, so I saw this on Peacock, right? It was the fact that they kept calling that girl a cunt. See you next Tuesday. They just kept calling her that. I was like, oh my God. Y'all keep calling this girl out of her name. Again, she ain't my cup of tea, but I was like, wow, they really keep calling this girl out of her name. And like I said again earlier, I have no problem with how Ariana feels. I am all for Ariana cussing her out, going off on her, right? And I keep thinking to myself, what does she think is going to come from this? Like, everybody on this stage at this point hates your guts. I don't know how, like, for me with season 11, I honestly don't know how Sandoval and her come back, because who's going to film with them? I think they're going to have to basically force them to film with these people, because I just don't see how season 11 is going to work out. I'm interested to see how season 11 is going to work, right? So I will say that James was my MVP for this reunion, because he was not let up on Sandoval, and I was here for it. So Tracy says on part one, Tom said they slept together in August, then stopped. Then Andy asked when they started back. The picture was September 2022, so they stopped just long enough for the other Tom to get some. That's my problem. Like I said, we'll talk about her, what she said at the in her interview. Like, I really think that Sandoval thinks he's the smartest person walking. And that's why, really and truly, that was why Sandoval, in part two of the reunion, when he went to her trailer, when they took the lunch break, when he went to her trailer and he was talking to her about how, how things were going, even though she was already backstage, in the trailer watching it, because she gave the restraining order against Sheena. When he was trying to talk to her, and the producers were like, the others are, sitting together and we're filming them. So if you want to talk to her, it's going to be on camera. But if you want just a few minutes for yourself, then fine. We're not going to film you. Tom was trying to get this dim-witted girl by herself, so that way he can talk to her and manipulate her into saying what he wanted her to say. And the reason why when she got on that stage, when she was trying to fake all these tears, she didn't know, she and Tom really, they didn't get a chance to rehearse what they were going to say on the stage. And that's why she was moving around the way she was. Because at one point in the reunion, she got up and walked off talking about, I need some water. Nah, bitch, you didn't need no water. You just didn't know what the hell to say. You was like, I'm drowning, so let me get myself out of this hot seat. If it's a Vegas, they are probably going to put Tom and his mustache and Rachel on there, because nobody's going to film with them from this cast. That's the thing. No, I don't see anybody filming with these two from this cast, but they're going to unfortunately, they're going to need them for season 11. Like, they're like, if you guys look at the numbers for this season of Vanderpump Rules, the numbers have been the highest that they've ever been. And that's unfortunately because of the worm with the mustache and the girl with two names. Speaking of her with the two names, she was talking about, Andy asked her, did she change her name? She said yes. And she's a moron, because you didn't legally change your name. You said that Raquel is a nickname. Girl, how the fuck is Raquel a nickname and your name is Rachel? And then she's like, it's disrespectful that people call me Rachel when I go by Raquel. Girl, your name is Rachel. Your family calls you Rachel. So therefore, we will be calling you on this, because I'm gonna be back for season 11, you guys. So therefore, we will be calling you fucking Rachel. Girl, suck a dick. Period. So I heard they're willing to pay big money if they film with Tom and Rachel. I'm pretty positive they are, because that's what it's going to come down to. They're going to have to offer these people some money, because honestly, like I said, when Ariana, I am not upset with Ariana. I empathize with Ariana, right? And she said at the end of the reunion that she will never forgive Tom. Honest to God, I don't blame her. I wonder, Andy, y'all need to start filming season 11 today, because I want to see her actual reaction to the last 6 minutes of that fucking reunion. I need to see all of the reactions to the reunion, because my jaw dropped, and I'm not even a cast member. Like, when that girl got into that interview with the producers, and even the producer said she was lying. Like, no, I need Andy and his crew with the camera filming them. Yeah, Watch What Happens Live got a million views, and that's not common for Watch What Happens Live. They can barely crack 500,000 views. When she said that about her name, I agree with Ariana. Like, girl, your name is Rachel. You're a moron. I was in when she was talking about her name, I was like, girl, what the fuck? Your name is Rachel. Nobody likes you. Go away. I know Tom and Ariana still live in the same house. That is crazy to me. If I was Ariana, honestly, I would figure out what I have to do to get my name off of that fucking house so I can get out of that shit. Because if I were in the house with Tom, every time Tom would come to the house, I would bust him upside his head with a frying pan. I would just bust Tom upside his head. He'd be like, Ariana, first of all, why does Tom have these white ass fingernails? Like, that was what was getting me. Why does Tom have these white fingernails? At least Lala's is a childhood nickname that her brother gave her. Rachel just picked the name she did. She just picked a name. She was talking about there were two girls in my class that were named Rachel, so I just call myself Raquel. Well, bitch, we're gonna call you Rachel. How about that? Your name is Rachel. I won't be referring to you as Raquel. Rachel is your name. And what blew me was she said my family still calls me Rachel. So what's the purpose in going by Raquel if nobody calls you that name? Like, it makes no sense. That's just like me. Y'all call me JB, but nobody in my personal life calls me JB, right? You guys are the only ones that call me JB. My family calls me by my middle name. Some of my childhood friends call me my middle name. Some of my childhood friends call me by my first name. But for you guys, it's JB. But my personal life, it's either my first name or my middle name. And even with JB is my initials. So I didn't completely make up a whole new name. This girl just went and made up a whole brand new name. Rachel Raquel. Rachel Raquel. They don't go together. So, like I said, we would be calling you Rachel, right? So the next thing that we talked about was when they were spotted at the Abbey, right? So this is the other moment when I realized Tom is just a fucking liar too, because Tom is trying to sit here and say that they were at the Abbey with James, his dad, and his girlfriend, right? And James and them are like, wait a minute, no, 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 you were not there with us. James had me dying laughing when that fool got up and started dancing. I was like, oh my god. When James got up and started dancing like Sandoval, I cracked up, right? And Sandoval, this is this is where Sandoval still is losing you, right? Because Sandoval is trying to say that they were just friends. They had had sex at one time, but they went back to being friends with each other. And I was like, how do you sleep with her and then just say, oh, you're going back to be my friend and you're going to go back to being Ariana's best friend? How does that work, Sway? Please, somebody make the math mad after add up to me because, huh? Like, how does that add up? We smashed. We're gonna go out as friends, but again, we smashed. But again, Sandoval wants to say it was just one time, but one time or two, you had sex with this woman and you're in a relationship with her, right? Speaking of relationship, when they were talking about the fact that Ariana and Tom were in an open relationship, what gave her the implication that they were in an open relationship, right? If you're sneaking around with him, that's not an open relationship, my love. An open relationship is one where he and his girlfriend know about who they're sleeping with and they're not sneaking around. That's not an open relationship. Yes, Lala went down on her, right? He was in the car with her. Kind of weird, but okay. But you and him are sneaking around each other. That's not open. Like, I don't know if she is, stuck on stupid or what, but the open relationship thing just really threw me. I was like, do you not know what an open relationship is? She's a dingbat. She's a dingbat. So Tom said that he never told her about that they were in an open relationship. I was like, honestly, I believe her. I slightly believe her, right? I think Tom may have gotten her ear, and I think that she was, they were talking once. I'm gonna go back. Like I said, you guys, I'm gonna be bouncing around. At one point, they were talking about the sex that they weren't having sex right, and she was like, she told Tom to figure out what's going on with the relationship. Girl, so did you really think that he was gonna have sex with you behind closed doors without his girlfriend, and then say, "Oh, yeah, I'm gonna break up with her, but we got a house together." Oh God, this girl just got on my. They really got on my nerves. They really got on my nerves with that whole situation. I just don't understand how you can sit here and how Tom can sit here and say that, oh yeah, we had sex, but we were just hanging out with each other at the Abbey as friends. Y'all were hanging out at the Abbey as friends, and y'all also probably went back to your house and had sex. Like, don't play with me. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. So she's still at this point trying to muster up some tears, and there's no tears there whatsoever. Like, absolutely no tears. Trey said, I watched Seeking Sister Wives on TLC, and that's not how that works. Yeah, I've never watched that, but I'm pretty positive I know how open relationship works. And what she's talking about, that shit wasn't no open relationship. They know about each other. Oh yeah, I've never watched Seeking Sister Wives, but I know that those women on Seeking Sister Wives, they know about each other. Don't they live together? From what I've heard, don't they live together? So she can miss me with that dumb shit about them being in an open relationship. I was like, girl, stop lying. Like, stop lying. So at one point, Andy asked Rachel and Tom, do they love each other? I was like, say what now? So she was like, because at one point she was like, it was so hard to stop because Tom and Andy were like, because you fell in love with him. And she was like, mm-hmm. I was like, girl, you are really stupid. You fell in love with him. Okay, okay. She fell in love with him. The man was keeping you as a secret. How do you fall? Oh my God. I'm losing brain cells listening to this woman talk. I'm losing brain cells. Like, I was losing brain cells listening to her talk, for real, for real. Ali and Lala could see it being weird because they're not the closest to the whole thing. And I think that's one of the things, because Sheena, I know at one point Katie said she kind of thought something. I think a lot of them may have felt like they could see some things that were happening there, but I think in the back of their mind they're like, uh, they're best friends, so I don't think that she would do that. But unfortunately, she did it. So Tom lost me at this in this part of the at the towards the end of the reunion, because he was talking about how the cast, how Lisa, how social media, how everybody has kind of come around Ariana, and has, especially the cast, how everybody in the cast has come in support of Ariana, right? And how he feels about it. And I'm like, you wronged her. You slept with her so-called best friend. So what did you expect like what did he expect for people to do? I really was thinking to myself, like, what did Tom expect for everybody to do? Did he expect for everybody to be like, oh, yeah, Ariana, she slept with your boyfriend, but whatever. Tom, how you feeling? Why would anybody ask Tom how he feels? Like, he is delusional. Alexa, play Ariana Grande, No Tears Left to Cry. She had not one tear. I was like, and when I had already established that she was a sociopath before Ariana even uttered those words, I was like, she's a sociopath. Like, I had literally typed it in my notes long before Ariana called the girl a sociopath. But Tom is a sociopath as well, right? So we're kind of wrapping up. Now, the thing is, this relationship is literally doomed. They're talking about how they love each other, and I'm like, how do y'all love each other? Okay, y'all just recently came public with what happened, but now y'all are so in love with each other. It makes no sense to me. It's confusing, as it's not confusing, but it's confusion, right? And like I said earlier, the way that you get them is the way that you lose them. And Lala said it perfectly to her. the way he's talking to Ariana, he's going to be doing that to you as well. So you might be living it up right now, but you're going to get your karma in the form of Sandoval, and I'm waiting to see it, right? So they started to see it when Lala and Allie said something because Lala told James in September, a month after they started sleeping together, and Sheena noticed in January. And I honestly really do feel bad for Sheena because Sheena defended this girl and she was friends with this girl, and I feel bad for Ariana too. There's a special place in hell for that girl. Karma is gonna bite her in the ass in the worst way possible. So so now we're at the end of the reunion, right? So she left the stage and we brought Sheena back on. So once again, this time Tom actually had tears coming out of his eyes, but I don't believe anything that Tom was saying. I love you, Ariana, and I'm gonna be there cheering you on. And Ariana said, I'm not gonna be cheering him on. I will never forgive him. Tom was thinking that Tom was thinking people would treat Ariana like we did Kristen. Ah. But see, there's a difference between Kristen and Ariana. Kristen was cheating on him. I think when the situation with Kristen and Jax came out, the number one thing was Kristen was already hated by the good majority of the people. Kristen was already hated by social media because I remember I've never been a fan of Kristen Doty, never ever, right? So I think there's a difference. He might have wanted that treatment, but Ariana was never going to get it. You know, Granted, when Ariana actually came onto Vanderpump Rules, I was not the biggest fan of Ariana. And it was because I looked at Ariana kind of sideways because even though I didn't like Kristen, I was like, when it came down to Ariana, I was like, you still was with this man, and he was with Kristen, despite the fact that Kristen had sex with Jax while Tom was in the room sleep. I got that, but Ariana was never going to get, you know, she was never going to get the Kristen treatment. That's what I feel. But I see what you're saying, Tracy, for sure. I think that's what he was expecting, but he got a rude awakening when it didn't happen the way that he thought it would. Right? Tracy also says he only has tears because Lisa told him to. I was actually at work watching it on my phone, but I was looking at. I'm like, I know damn well Tom does not have some tears running down his eyes. I was like, Tom, save the tears for somebody else, right? So the cast took a picture with each other, right? And we go forward 6 days after the reunion, right? So they were still at the time of the reunion, they were still doing their pickup scenes for their interviews with the producers, right? So Rachel sat down with the producers, and when I tell you she put it all out there on the table, I was like, I don't think that Tom sat down with her and got the timeline together because I was like, oh my God. So when she was talking about them having sex, right, it wasn't just the one time like Tom tries to make it out. She said that they had sex in Mexico. I was like, well, damn. Oh, they had sex in Mexico. She said that, she wanted to have a throuple with him. And she said, I loved Ariana, but I was in love with Tom. I was like, do you hear yourself talking? And even at one point, the producers were asking her when they about them sleeping together, and she was like, no. But you can see her with this smirk on her face, and the producer was like, but your face says otherwise. So she started being honest about what happened with them. I'm like, you are a. I'm actually gonna take Lala's word. You are a low down hoe. Like you're a hoe. And I was just like, what the fuck? But what really threw me for a loop, and I thought it was, and I am so, when Ariana told her that I hope my dog haunts you, I swear to God, I do hope that that dog haunts the fuck out of this girl and Tom. Because when she said this is when she started really crying. But I'm like, you're not crying because you feel bad about what you did to Ariana. You're crying because you know this makes you look like scum of the fucking earth. and Tom is scum of the earth. Tom is Tom is the pits of hell. So when Ariana's grandmother passed away, here's my thing with Tom. Your girlfriend of 10 years, her grandmother passed away, and you did not go with her to her grandmother's funeral. You stayed behind and had sex with this girl while your girlfriend is at her grandmother's funeral. Tom, you are the fucking devil in disguise. Not even in disguise. You're the devil. You're evil. You're despicable. You're disgusting. Oh my God, when that girl uttered those words, I was like, what the fuck? Like, are you serious with me right now? Sheena bridesmaid said they couldn't find her when looking for her for events. They were talking about at one point they were talking about Coachella. I think that like I said with Tom tried to play it off as if it was it was just that one time, and then he's trying to play it off like it kicked back up in January. Tom, you are a fucking liar. You're a fucking liar. That shit did not happen back in August, and then we're gonna pick it back up in January. No, you and that girl have been having sex with each other for quite some time, and she revealed it when she was talking to the producers. And like I said, it is the most despicable thing. That's why I say the camera crew needs to be filming, because how can Tom sit here on this stage and talk about you love Ariana, but you had sex with this girl when her grandmother had passed away and she's at the funeral? You are too chicken shit to even I think it was Lala who asked Ariana, like, how would you have felt if Tom had came to you and said that, hey, I do have feelings for her? Ariana said that I would have told him it's either me or her, and I'm so here for it, right? I am so here for that. Like and she said I don't know if she would still be mad, but not as mad as what she is now. Like, I know Ariana has to be pissed and livid hearing that they had sex while she was at her grandmother's funeral. There is a special place in hell for Tom and Rachel. And like I said, the only reason why Rachel was crying in that interview is because she knows what that makes her look like, a sick and despicable human being. Marl says, I hope Ariana shaved that mustache off in his sleep. Like I said, especially last night watching the reunion, I would have beat the brakes off of Tom. I would have got a skillet and went upside Tom's fucking head. I would have been playing grid ball with Tom today. I would be beating the brakes off of Tom. The crazy part is they both knew what Ariana had going on exactly. Tom told Andy it picked back up after and gave him an event, and production put that timeline in. Put that timeline. It was a month later. And also when the producers asked her had she met his family, she said yeah, that she met his mom, right? And I know that they mentioned that earlier in the reunion. I forgot what Tom had said about her meeting his family. And well, he said they met her, and Andy asked how they feel about her, right? But she said that his mom had already knew about her. I was like, say what now? Run that back. So then they asked her. So then she was asked, had he ever been to St. Louis? That's where she was. That's where when the producer was like, she said no, but the producer was like, your face says otherwise. And then they showed a picture of them in St. Louis. I was like, oh my God, baby, I promise you, I would be beating the brakes off of Tom and this girl. Rachel and Tom would be getting the business at every turn. Like, I honestly, for me, if I was Ariana, I would say, okay, let's bring on season 11. Let's get these contracts negotiated. Let's bring them trashy ass motherfuckers on, because I'm going in on both of their ass. I'm gonna beat his ass, and I'm definitely gonna beat her ass as soon as I see her. Like, if Sheena did punch her, Sheena needs to find that girl again and punch her for a second time. Like, oh, when it burned, it just infuriated me when she sat there and said that they had sex while that girl was at her grandmother's funeral. He shaved it after the Howie. Oh, he's already shaved that mustache. I did see him when he did that interview with Howie Mandel, but I have not been paying Tom Sandoval much attention lately, so I didn't realize that he shaved that mustache. I would, oh my God, I would beat the brakes off of Tom. I would beat the brakes off of Tom. Oh, I would beat the brakes off. I would be beating Tom. Would be still getting beat today. They would have to call the police to get me off of Tom. Actually, they would have to call God to get me off of Tom. And then I'm gonna tell Tom I'm gonna go find your hoe and I'm gonna whoop her ass too. Oh, ooh, 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 Tom. I went back to the last two episodes before the reunion and looked at the dates. Okay, I'm gonna have to go back and look at those too. But oh, part. So Vanderpump Rules season 10 was an interesting season, and the reunion, they didn't lie when they talked about their reunion. So let me know what you guys think that in the live chat. I'll stay here for a little few more minutes and we'll talk. And then also, if you guys are watching the playback, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. But yeah, Tom is trash. Tom is trash, and so is Rachel. Like I promise you guys, my spirit was just disgusted looking at her in that interview with those tears. I'm like, those tears are not real. Those tears are not for Ariana. You're trying to make it as if those tears are for Ariana. Those tears are for you because you know that the viewing public is going to see you for the trash ass individual that you are. I need to go look at Tom Sandoval's social media because I don't want to know if Tom has anything to say. I just want to know what Tom has to say. Because, ooh, I promise you, Tom would be on my shit list this day today. Mm, 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 mm. Tracy says, so they started sleeping together in August. He said they stopped for a while, and then he said they slept together in January. The problem is his one-on-one. The event was in September. See, that's why I say Tom thinks he's smart. Because I think Tom went into this reunion with a game plan of what he was going to say, not knowing that there was things out there that could prove that he was a fucking liar. That's why I say I think Tom thinks he's smarter than what he is. Ariana don't have no brothers. My brother know how to make it look like an accident. Oh my, oh my God! I promise you, Tom. Mm, disgusting. But that's it, you guys. Yeah, let me know what you guys thought about this, and I can guarantee you for season 11, I am definitely reviewing Vanderpump Rules. I did review Vanderpump Rules a few seasons ago, but the episode that I did review, Kristen was coming at James hardcore, and I just couldn't. I just couldn't with Kristen. And I have been seeing some tweets about people talking about bring Stassi back, bring Jax back, and bring Kristen back. Do not bring them back. They were fired for a reason because they are racist. Keep the racist away. Now I know that not Stassi, but I know Kristen made an appearance on Watch What Happens Live and the show, and I did not watch I did not watch the episode or her appearance on Watch What Happens Live. I refuse to watch anything that has Kristen Doute's ugly face on it. Then Rachel did that one-on-one and made it clear they only stopped again at Sheena's wedding and never stopped. Like, are you serious? She's a trash box and a pass around. And again, I don't like calling women pass around. I don't like calling anybody a pass around. But that's exactly what Miss Rachel is, a fucking pass around. Wasn't their first time in the oh yeah, they did mention they brought up the hot tub. I ain't got much more else for this girl besides the fact that she's trash. In the backyard, and Tom locked himself out, and Ariana had to let him in. I really wonder, like, for hindsight, with Ariana, did she see things and she just kind of like, I don't think that would be the case. That's what I'm wondering when it comes to Ariana, if she probably saw the shit, like we said earlier in the live. I think a lot of them probably saw it, but they just didn't think that it could be. But yeah, that's all I got, you guys. I will see you guys. So yeah, you guys, I gotta get off of here, and I gotta go watch Real Housewives of Orange County, and I gotta watch Sisters. So those will be up tonight or tomorrow, and then I also have to watch College Hill. I also have to watch College Hill. So those reviews will be up, and I will catch you guys for something those later. And Tracy says, yes, the first time was a night Allie seen him at the Abbey. But this motherfucker wants to sit here and say, we're gonna end this with fuck you, Tom Sandoval. I'll see you guys later. Take care of yourselves, guys. Wash your hands, be blessed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.